Hi guys, welcome back. So today I wanted to show you a new board game that I got. We've talked about it in the past. I really like board games. I do like video games, but board games are kind of my jam. I like board games. So, my brother got a new one for Christmas, and we played it all of one time, and I decided that I should get a copy for myself. But then I was looking on the company's website, and I found a different version that is a little bit more complicated than what we got my brother, and is it's sci-fi instead of being fantasy, which is a little bit more me as well. So I thought I would try this one instead of what he got. Plus that way we don't have the exact same game. We have different versions of the exact same game. So, Clank in space, which I think should be said like Clank in space. I don't know. There's exclamation points, so I feel like it's got to be shouted somehow. But you can't shout in an ASMR video. Although I'm pretty sure Goodnight Moon did it once. She screamed. That's neither here nor there. So, new board game. I have opened it up enough to pop all the pieces out of the cardboard and pull all of the stuff out. And I thought that we would together go through the instruction manual and look at the components and see what we think. So, give me just a second. We'll change the camera angle and I'll show you what all comes with Clank in space. So, I realized, so I didn't actually tell you anything about Clank. So I thought we'd start by just reading the back of the box. Clank in Space, a deck-building adventure. Episode 3-ish. The evil cyborg Lord Erraticus plunders the galaxy from his wow, I can read. From his living starship, Erraticus Prime. He has seized invaluable artifacts from galactic civilizations and hidden them deep within his constantly evolving ship. Sneak your way aboard Erraticus Prime. Hack computer terminals to open your path. Recover the stolen treasures of the universe. And escape before the Erratabots hunt you down. One false step and clank. Careless noise draws Erraticus ever closer. To enjoy your plunder, you must reach an escape pod and make your getaway. In space, everyone can hear you clank. See, the original was a like a dungeon diving game. You would go into a dungeon instead of a spaceship and get the loot away from the dragon. And it was really fun. It was a really cool concept. But I liked the sci-fi nature of this one, and I liked that it was supposed to be just a little bit more complicated than the original, because the original was very easy. I also really like the piece for Erraticus Prime. The piece for the dragon was also kind of cool in the other version, but he's just cool. Erraticus. And mini Erraticus. So, components. I should have 15 phasers, 15 boldly goes, 12 memory cores, and 1 goblin. So, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2. Access. Okay. I understand. 4 10-card starting decks that have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hacks, 1 scramble, 1 access, and 2 stumbles. So here's a starting deck. scramble, access, stumble, stumble. That is also a starting deck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scramble, access, stumble, stumble. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Scramble, access, stumble, stumble. And an erratibot. What are these? These are memory cores. I have 12 of these. I should have 15 boldly goes, which I don't have. At least in that pile. The adventure deck, which I assume is these, should have 100 cards. Oh my gosh, iPod. This is the other thing that I really liked, is that it was supposed to be super punny. Hub of the Yurt. Come on. Look at it. It's Jabba, but in Leia's costume. Security officers. Shredbot. What am I looking for? Exterminator instead of Terminator. Android assistant. Android diva. Android runaway. Nibbling beast. Underworld contact. Cranky doctor. Oh my gosh. I love it. Entertainer. Exo Stomper. Feline. Furry Smuggler. Data Miner. Helpful Prodigy. Jidu Infiltrator instead of Jedi. Princess Helia. Psychic Master. Shapeshift. Oh my gosh. Okay, so far this is so punny. I love it. What's the other deck? Space Pirate. Space Skunk. Trophy Hunter. Door hacking. It's like hacking the Matrix too. I love it. Acoustic Spanner. It's like a sonic screwdriver. Jidu laser sword. Light scooter. Power boots. Power converter. Wound be gone. Oh my gosh, the red pill and the blue pill. Phasers are on this list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15. There's more boldly goes. Cool. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Erratibot. Cool. Okay, I didn't see the goblin. Am I blind? It should be a red card. I'm sure it's around here somewhere. It's no worries. Okay. So, actually, you know what? I think it is. I think it might. It's this. Yeah, it's just double-sided. Goblin on this side, Eradibot on this side. Does not say that in components. Look at the goblin. Yeah, cool. Alright, so we have all of those. We've been through the adventure deck. I'm just gonna pile all of these up over here. Okay, so then there are 7 game board pieces, a few of which, 3 of them are double-sided. And I don't really know how the board goes together yet. So I don't super know what I'm looking at or for. But I assume this is one of the double-sided pieces. And this is one of the double-sided pieces. And this is one of the double-sided pieces. It looks really cool. I liked that the board is a little bit modular, so it'll change every time. That was one of the things that people had noted in the reviews for the original Clank, was that after you got used to it, it was a little bit like doing the exact same thing all the time. Which is just never quite as fun. Alright, so we have the boss marker, we have the boss bag. I realize you can't see what I'm looking at. So, artifacts, major secrets, all of that. The market board was in there. I'm assuming a lot of this is in here. Alright. These are credits. Doesn't really say how many of them there should be. Just that there are credits. Fine by me, as long as we have credits, we can do things. We can also throw them on accident as we attempt to sort through things. Alrighty. That's almost all of them. Okay. So, the artifacts would be these ones. And 6. So these are our artifacts. What are these? I don't really understand what these are, aside from, artifacts. I think that's what you're trying to get, are the artifacts, and then you want to leave with them. Okay, then 8 market items. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Some of these are keys. What are these? Med kits, contraband, and telepasses. Don't really know what those do either. I think they get you points at the end as well, but again, I haven't even looked at anything to do with this yet. Escape pods are these 4. Yep, okay. We have command code tokens, 4 of those. We have 28 minor secrets, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 of those. 1 brocade token, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 major Adventure Secrets. So, everything in the bag is everything in the bag. I'm going to put it back in so I don't lose it. So that's all of these. Then, let's see. 120 Clank cubes in orange, white, purple, and blue. That's these. Okay, so we have the Clank cubes for each player. We have 5 power crystals that I really want to pull out of this bag because they look really fun to play with. Look at these. Look at these. I don't know what they're for yet. Clearly. Maybe they're bad to hold. No way to know. Except that we're going to read the instructions in a minute. That's that. Let's see. We have 24 boss cubes and 4 bounty hunter cubes. Those are in here. 8 data cubes and the 4 player pawns. These are cute. Yeah, this is going to be fun. All right, so let's read through a bit. Oh yes, in the boss bag. So, we assemble the spaceship like this. And the artifacts go face up on the spaces in the command module. Okay, so they tell you where they go, I guess. Hang on. Let me get out a piece. See if it says anything. I wonder if it's here. Okay, so this piece is this piece here. So the players start here, I think. Yep, in the cargo bay. And this is your life. I know that much from the other version. This is where those artifacts go. This is where the 10 goes, the 5, the 20, the 25, and the 15. Is it double-sided? No, this is a single side. This is everything for this. So the artifacts are what we're going for, and I think these are the areas we have to get through to get to them. Interesting. Alright, so let's assume that we've done setup and that we know what everything is. Okay, let me move these and we'll slide up the rules so you can see them too. Alright, so adventure deck goes here, and we draw out 6 cards, and then we have the phasers, the boldly goes, the memory cores, and the goblin slash erratibot who confused us earlier. And these are all things you can always buy, and then these change. This is all the money pool. These are the little blue things that I've forgotten the name of. These are all the player hands that you start with, so the ones that we dealt out earlier with the stumbles and the access, scramble, these guys. Yeah. Alright, so let's dive in, assuming we understand all of this. Okay. So, I feel like we still can't see everything. Alright, so you want to be a thief. This is a deck building game. Start with identical decks, but build up a deck throughout the game. Players will acquire different cards during their turns. Strategies are different for everybody. Okay, that's fine. I've played deck builders before. Step 1. The mission. Everyone must board Lord Erraticus' ship and steal one of his artifacts. Escaping with your life is technically optional, although vastly preferable. During the game, you have 3 goals. Hack the spaceship's computer to obtain a 2-part command code allowing you to enter the command module. Steal an artifact taken from the command module, then reach an escape pod in the cargo bay module and escape the ship. You can only carry one artifact, and once you've picked one up, you're stuck with it, so choose carefully. Yeah, so like this one's only worth 5, but if you get to it, you could maybe get some other loot on your way out, where this one's harder to get to, but it's worth more. So, different strategies, different payoffs. The plan. Stealing from Lord Erraticus is far from a simple job. Navigate a spaceship, deal with enemies stand in your way, and acquire valuable technology. Most cards you play generate resources, of which there are 3 different kinds. Skills, used to acquire new cards for your deck. Swords, laser swords of course, used to defeat the enemies who serve Lord Erraticus. And boots, used to move around the ship. Princess Helia generates all 3 kinds. Factions. Many cards have an icon in the upper left corner marking them as a member of one of 3 factions: Outlaw, Resistance, or Science. These icons can also appear in a card's text. To use this text, you must play a different card of that faction during your turn, before or after the one with the text you want to use. You can only use the text once, no matter how many other cards of the faction you play. Princess Helia is part of the Resistance faction. If you play her on the same time as Phantom Agent, you draw a card. Cool. Acquiring a new card for your deck, you can use Skill, which is the blue ones, to acquire cards with blue banners from the Adventure row, which change throughout the game, or cards with yellow banners from the Reserve, which are the same in every game. Those are the Boldly Goes and Memory Cores of those. Skill cost is found here. Once you pay the cost, place the card in your discard. It is now part of your deck. Defeat an enemy. Enemies are the cards with red banners in the Adventure row. Instead of acquiring enemies with skill, you defeat them using laser swords. The number of swords required to defeat an enemy are found in its lower right-hand corner. When you defeat an enemy in the Adventure row, you gain the reward listed in its defeat text. Then the card is placed in the Adventure discard pile, not your own discard pile. Do not immediately replace it with a new card from the Adventure deck. You may also fight the Goblin in the Reserve. It is not discarded when defeated. Each player may fight it multiple times each turn, earning its reward each time. The same is true of the erratibot if the Goblin should be flipped over during the game. Buy from the market. Throughout the spaceship, you'll find a number of market spaces. If you're in a market space, you may make a purchase. All items cost 7 credits. Place each item you buy in front of you in your play area. You may buy only one item of each type. So if you already have a med kit, you can't buy another. Move through the spaceship. We do that with boots. Move this over so you can see what we're doing. So with boots, boots are how you move throughout the spaceship. Each boot lets you move along a marked path from one space to an adjacent space. Spaces in 2 different modules can still be adjacent. In this example, the center space is adjacent to 3 other spaces. Spending 1 boot would allow you to move it to any of them. Some paths have special rules. A path with footprints requires 2 boots. When you move along a path with any enemy icons, you take 1 damage for each icon. For each sword you use, you may avoid 1 point of this damage, but you don't have to use swords to make such a move. You cannot use a path with a locked icon unless you have a master key token purchased from the market. A path shaped like an arrow can only be used in the direction of the arrow. Normally you can't move it in the opposite direction, which I assume means sometimes you can. When you first move into a space, you may take 1 of the secret tokens there, major or minor, and put it in front of you. Choose it without looking first, then reveal it. Secret tokens are described in the back. Whenever you enter a security checkpoint, you're forced to stop to avoid detection. You cannot use any more boots this turn. You may still be able to move by teleporting, but you won't be able to use boots until your next turn. Using a hyperlift or telepad. Hyperlifts and telepads are 2 different ways of moving quickly through the spaceship. Hyperlift is a series of spaces running through the center of the ship. If you're on a hyperlit space, you may move along its path to any other hyperlit space. Some can be blocked to you either by a lock you can't pass without a master key or by the increasing rage of Lord Erraticus, as described later. Telepads are not physically connected like the hyperlifts. They work instead using matter streaming technology. They also require a telepass purchased from the market. If you are on a telepad space and have the necessary telepass, you may move to any other telepad space. You don't need boots to use a hyperlift or telepad, however you suffer dizziness after using either and can't use any boots until your next turn. You can use boots to move through a hyperlift or telepad space without using the hyperlift or telepad itself. Cool. Hacking a data port. The command module of the spaceship is protected by a force shield. To reach an artifact, you will have to hack the ship's computer in 2 different locations to grant yourself a 2-part command code. Scattered throughout the spaceship are a number of data ports. When you're in a space with a data port, you may place 1 of your 2 data cubes on it. You immediately get the bonus or penalty shown. That port can't be used again by any player for the rest of the game. Security will respond to your intrusion, so you have to stay on the move. Because of this, you can't place your 2nd data cube in the same module of the spaceship as your first. Once you've placed your 2 data cubes in different modules, you've completed your command code. Take a command code token from the bank and move the boss marker up 1 stage along the rage track. Until you possess this token, you can't enter the command module by any means, not by boots, hyperlift, telepad, or an ability card in your deck. Stealing an artifact. Once you have your command code and enter the command module, you can do what you came here to do, steal an artifact from Lord Erraticus. If you're in a space with an artifact token, you may pick it up and place it in your play area. You can't take an artifact token if you already have one. You might want to pass up 1 artifact to go after a more valuable one elsewhere. When you take an artifact token, move the boss marker up 1 space along the rage track. Gaining credits. These are 2 other things you'll encounter. When you gain credits from a card or space, take them from the bank and put them in front of you. Each credit is worth 1 point when the game ends, but you can also use credits for other purposes during the game, like buying items from the market. Clank. Some cards cause you to gain Clank. When this happens, add that many cubes from your personal supply to the Clank area of the game board. Some very sneaky cards cause you to remove Clank. For each negative Clank you get, remove 1 of your Clank from the Clank area. If you don't have enough Clank there, you can instead avoid adding Clank later in the turn if an effect would make you do so. Any leftover negative Clank is lost when your turn ends. Once you've played all your cards and used as many resources as you want to, your turn ends. Put all the cards you played into your discard pile. Any skills, swords, or boots you don't use are wasted, so make them count. Lastly, draw 5 new cards in preparation of your next turn. Then if any of the 6 spaces for cards in the adventure row are empty, refill them with new cards from the adventure deck. Cool. Seems simple enough as someone who plays deck builders not infrequently. Step 3. The Mark. Lord Eradicus didn't become ruler of the galaxy by looking foolish. When he discovers what you're doing aboard his ship, he's going to come after you with everything he's got. At the end of every player's turn, if any of the 6 spaces for cards in the adventure row are empty, refill them with new cards from the adventure deck. If any of the cards have a boss attack symbol, Lord Eradicus attacks, but only once, no matter how many boss attack symbols were revealed. To execute an attack, take all of the cubes in the Clank area and put them in the boss bag. Shake it up and draw a number of cubes from the bag equal to the number shown in the boss marker's current space on the track rage track. That was backwards. Each black cube drawn is set aside, staying outside the bag, but each cube of a player's color represents damage dealt to that player. Undrawn cubes remain in the bag. They might still be drawn out later. The more clank you make, the more likely Lord Eradicus is to notice and attack you. Managing your noise level is key to survival, and that's something that I thought was really fun with the original too, was that you're trying to be quiet, but there's so many cards that make clank. Lord Eradicus's rage increases throughout the game. Advance the boss marker 1 space along the rage track every time any of the following occurs. A command code is completed, an artifact is picked up, an archive, a type of minor secret, is discovered. Advancing the boss marker may cause more cubes to be drawn in the next attack. The more cubes being drawn, the deadlier the game becomes. The danger escalates in other ways as the boss marker reaches spaces near the top of the rage track. Dispatch bounty hunters. 3 spaces near the top of the rage track contain red bounty hunter cubes. When the boss marker reaches one of these spaces, take the red cube or cubes there and place them in the Clank area. They'll be added to the boss bag during the next attack. Whenever a red cube is pulled during attack, every player takes 1 damage. What's more, the red cube is then returned to the Clank area. It will go into the boss bag again for the next attack. Deploy blockade. When the boss marker reaches the last space in the red zone of the rage track, take the blockade token from this space and place it in the cargo bay module, severing the connection to the last space on the hyperlift path. You can still use the hyperlift during your turn. You just can't use it to move to or from the hyperlift space in the cargo bay for the rest of the game. That sounds terrifying. Step 4, the getaway. Stealing from Lord Eradicus is an obviously risky endeavor. It will make for a great story, but it will be better if you're alive to be the one telling it. Each player's health is tracked on a health meter on the corner of the game board. When you take damage during the game, and you will take damage, place your cubes on the health meter of your color, starting from the left. If damage came from a boss attack, use the cubes that were pulled from the boss bag, or when a red cube is pulled, a cube from your personal supply. If you chose to take damage by moving it through an enemy on the board without a sword, take cubes from your personal supply. You can't choose to take damage this way if it would completely fill your health meter. Some effects can heal damage you've taken. When you heal, take back a cube of your color from your health meter and put it in your personal supply. You can use it again later for more clank. If your health meter is ever completely filled, you're knocked out. What happens next depends on how successful you've been so far. If you have retrieved an artifact and have made it back to the cargo bay module, your allies will get you to safety by dragging you aboard their ship. You can count the points you earned. If you haven't gotten an artifact yet or aren't in the cargo bay, then you can't be rescued. You lose the competition, which at this point is the least of your worries. Once you've picked up an artifact, you can also make your way to an escape pod at the back of the cargo bay. If you reach one, remove it from the board along with your player pawn and all your clank in the clank area. Your rivals will have to find their own escape pod while you rest in safety with 20 additional points. Remember, if you don't have an artifact yet, you can't leave the spaceship or be rescued by your allies. That's interesting. We didn't have this happen in the original game when we played. One of the players died or was knocked out, but she was already really close to being out, so it was all fine. Step 5. End of the line. Good timing is crucial in this heist. Getting caught by Lord Eradicus would be far worse than being pinched by local authorities. But as in all heists, there's nothing wrong with throwing your rivals out the proverbial airlock once you've made your escape. Once a player leaves an escape pod or is knocked out, they no longer take normal turns. They add no more Clank to the Clank area. Cards that affect all players don't affect them. They take no damage from cubes drawn from the boss bag. Instead, whenever that player would take a turn, they take all the cubes in the Clank area and put them in the boss bag. They shake the bag up and draw 4 cubes. Ignore the boss marker's current space on the rage track and any additional danger in the adventure row. They draw exactly 4 cubes. Otherwise, damage is taken just like in a boss attack. Once all players have escaped the spaceship or have been knocked out, the game ends. All players who reached an escape pod, or at least the cargo bay module, add up their score, counting the following. The value of their artifacts, points equal to the amount of credits they accumulated, points from any other tokens acquired, points awarded by cards in their deck in the top right corner of each card. Player with the most points wins and is declared the greatest thief in the galaxy. That seems really cool. It's very similar to the original game, but it has just enough differences to add a little bit of spice and make it a little bit more interesting. I'm super excited to try playing it. I think I'm probably going to be trying it out in the next couple of days, so I'll probably try it before posting this video, and I will let you know in the description box what I thought and if I recommend it. If this is a type of video you'd like to see more of, let me know. I have oodles of games, and I kind of really liked reading the rule book. That was kind of fun. Yeah. So let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week, guys. Bye.